Good evening, everyone. Thanks again for joining me here on another Monday night where we get together and create a card together. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. We were up at the lake, just John and Zach and I. The other two stayed home, but Zach got his boat ride in, so he was a happy camper and managed to do that before all the storms rolled through. So that was a pretty good weekend. Just a reminder that everything I use tonight is going to be found in one of these 3 catalogs, and when I post this later, all the information on page numbers and ordering numbers, etc. will be listed right there for you. So you can take a look and see throughout these catalogs where those might be. And if for some reason you don't have these, just drop me a message here. You can either leave a comment or send me an email or a message on Facebook, and I'll be happy to get one of those out for you. Alrighty, before we get started, I wanted to bring something to your attention if you haven't seen it, my little announcement on Facebook yet. Saturday, August 20th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., myself and 2 of my fellow demonstrators, Lisa Schmid and Amy Rich, are going to offer up another fun live stamping event. We'll do it in a private Facebook group. More details are coming as far as cost and extras and stuff like that and how to register and everything. But for now, I wanted to get that date on your calendar in case you'd like to hold on to that to join us live. If you're unable to join us live, don't worry. It's in, again, I said, a private Facebook group, and you will have access to that at any point when you've registered and paid and all that stuff. So even if you can't join us live that day, you'll still get all the great benefits. We'll do make and takes together, so all the supplies will be sent to you. We'll do make and takes together, presentations and stuff, and it'll all be featuring some sweets from the mini catalog, the July to December mini catalog. So keep an eye on the Facebook page for that, and I'll also post or send out a newsletter, etc., with all the details. So again, August 20th is our set date for that. We're looking forward to that. If you joined us on Super Bowl Sunday, then you kind of have a taste of what this is like. We did that same thing then, and like I said, we do some live presentations for you, some make and takes, and it's really a lot of fun. Alrighty, so let's get started with our card tonight. We are on episode 74, if you can believe that, at the end of July here. Tonight you need a piece of cardstock that's 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. Mine is Mossy Meadow. Then you need a piece of designer series paper that's 3 by 4. Mine is from the Rustic Harvest, which is in the mini catalog. Hey, Kathy Joe, good to see you tonight. Then you need a second piece of cardstock that is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to use basic black. And then another 3 by 4 piece, and you can either use another piece of designer series paper or a piece of cardstock. So it's an either or, not a both. So I have a piece of Cajun Craze. And then for your phrase tonight, you just need a neutral piece that's about 1 by 2.5 and some kind of phrase to fit on that. My phrases tonight, my phrase I'm using tonight, and then the ones on most of the samples are from Go-To Greetings. It's in the set that I find myself going to, for lack of a better term, quite often. It's got a lot of really great phrases, and then in a bunch of different sizes and fonts. So you get really super fancy and tiny and cute, and then a medium range one here. So I really recommend that one to adding to your collection of phrases tonight. Okay, so let's get started. The stamping is easy. All you need to do is do your phrase on your piece of 1 by 2.5. This one I'm going to use, again, that Go-To Greetings. I've got my Mossy Meadow ink, and this card is going to say thank you. And sorry if my head gets in the way. Okay, so there's my thank you. We'll just set that off to the side up there and close up our ink pad before we stick our fingers in it, because I'm really good at that. Okay. So take that first piece of 3 by 4 designer series paper and your cardstock that's a little bit larger, so it's 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to slide this over here so that you can actually see that piece. And you're just going to go ahead and mount this one onto the cardstock. And I chose the basic black because it really sets off those pumpkins then, because they're kind of on that black background. That really sets those guys off nicely. Okay, then let's go ahead and fold your cardstock of your card base and grab your bone folder and make that a really nice crease. Okay, and what we're going to end up with when we're done here, this is going to be kind of toward this corner here, and this is going to overlap slightly up toward that corner. Okay, so I'll leave that there for a second so you kind of get the idea. And you can decide if you want to put these two together first, and then you could do some dimensionals or something like that on the back of this and then put it on your card front, or you can just lay everything down flat. So I'm going to start by just laying everything down flat on this one, and then I'll show you some of my samples that have a stepped up version. Okay, so again, this is your 3x4 piece that was either another piece of designer series paper or a piece of cardstock. Mine is, again, Cajun Craze, because that is the color in the pumpkins. Okay, so there's that one. Then adhesive on your DSP that we backed with the cardstock, and leave kind of a similar border this way and this way. So I'm going to slide that over just a little bit, I think. So if you can kind of see, all your corners kind of line up. So if you were to hold a straight edge this way, you can kind of see they're all going to end up lining up with each other. Okay. I am going to pop my phrase up on this one, so I'm going to grab a couple dimensionals here and put those on the back. And I'm going to put my phrase, now you can play with this based on where your DSP is and what's involved in it. So you can cover up the things, cover up something you don't mind covering up. You can have this go all the way off over your piece that's back here. You can line it up perfectly with one of them. This is a cook's choice kind of option. I'm going to go kind of in between and just do that. Okay, and that is the very simple basic layout of that. And the nice thing is, if you do those cuts of designer series paper 3x4, they're evenly, you'll get an even cut out of your 12x12 piece of paper. So this is a great way for making a stack of very similar cards all at the same time. So if you had a pattern that you really loved and you need to crank out a bunch of birthday cards, this is the way to do it. You got your 3x4 piece of DSP, and that would take you 4 and 4. So you get like 8 cards out of each one, which would be pretty cool. And then, no, 8? I'll do the math on that later. My brain is not braining very well right now. But I'll do the math on that later. For some reason, even though it's 3s and 4s, my brain's not working really well right now. So 3, 4, it should be 12. Yes? No. Anyway, somebody do the math for me. Figure that out. Okay, back to this one. So here are some other samples I did. These two also use the same go-to greetings, and I used the celebration paper from the Celebration catalog, and this one I used the butterfly designer series paper from the main catalog. And again, that's the go-to greetings. Then this one, I pulled out some Christmas paper and my candy cane stamp set, which has the So Very Merry in it. And I did that one. So you can see there's another piece of designer series paper. That's another piece of designer series paper. This one also is just a piece of cardstock. And on these couple here, I did choose to pop them up on dimensionals. So I put them together first, and I popped the whole thing up on dimensionals for you. Okay, so there's those guys. Put them off to the side here, and we'll bring in our stepped up version for tonight. Very, very similar, same colors. I flipped this and did a piece of designer series paper back behind here. Also comes from the Rustic Harvest. And then I added a layer back here that I embossed with the new folder that's got the leaves on it. So it might be hard to see. There's a little bit of it you can kind of see down here. And that'll show up a little bit better when I take the formal picture. And I added some gold thread, or I'm sorry, gold twine behind my phrase. So just a little bit of extra kind of blingy. If you had anything like this with the patterns, especially if it's something with flowers, you could add little gems or something like that within the flowers. That would be pretty cute. So any way to dress that up, that's up to you, because obviously the basic version I think is still just incredibly awesome. So, all right. And I want to thank demonstrator Desiree Krum for giving me the inspiration piece for this. So this is a card I got in a swap, and I believe this paper also is in the Celebration catalog. And she did a die cut piece for here. She's got a ribbon wrapped around, so that's another way to add a little extra something. And she too has the embossed layer here. But I thought that was really, really fun. So there's, like I said, little bling, a little ribbon, really cute way to dress that up. But I just like the basic, simple layout of that one. So it's got a little visual interest, but easy cuts and easy to assemble in practically no time at all. All right, everybody, that finishes it up for another Make It With Me Monday. This video will post in just a few minutes. Then I'll have all the descriptions for the pictures of where all of these papers and phrases and everything come from. And that way you'll be able to track that in case you were interested in adding any of those to your collection. All right, everybody, you have a great evening, and I will see you again next Monday night. Bye now.